God says, in 7 minutes, a secret vault with $60 million in your name will be revealed. Open this now before it's gone. Something inside you shifts. Not because of the money, not because of the number, not even because of the urgency, but because a message like that forces you to pause in a way you haven't paused in a long time. It forces you to look at your life as something more than the routine you've been cycling through. It forces you to imagine, even for a second, that there is something waiting for you, something that has your name engraved on it long before you ever knew to ask. And that small pause becomes the spark. 7 minutes. Such a short window, but somehow it feels like eternity compressed. You begin to wonder, what if the vault isn't a physical room filled with money? What if it isn't about wealth in the human sense at all? What if the vault is a moment in your life where everything finally aligns, the opportunity you missed last year, the chance you hesitated to take, the talent you doubted, the dream you postponed because life kept getting in the way? What if the vault is the version of you that you haven't fully met yet, because the truth is, every person walks around carrying locked doors inside them. Doors with warnings, doors with promises, doors with dust from years of being untouched. And every so often, life whispers that one of those doors is about to swing open. You might call it intuition. You might call it divine timing. You might call it coincidence. But whatever it is, you feel it, this sense that something is shifting, something is birthing, something is calling out to you from behind a veil. So what happens in 7 minutes? The countdown is less about time and more about awakening. Because the moment you hear that a vault with something valuable belongs to you, you begin to evaluate yourself differently. You stand a little taller. Your mind stops replaying old failures and instead starts generating possibilities. Hope sneaks up on you even if you try to resist it. And for once, you allow yourself to imagine abundance without guilt. Without fear, without the voice that says you're asking for too much. The idea of a secret vault makes you think about everything you've survived without giving yourself enough credit. The nights you didn't sleep but pushed forward anyway. The days when silence felt heavy but you still showed up. The commitments you kept, the storms you endured, the disappointments that reshaped you, the courage that stayed even when everything else left. Maybe the vault contains the rewards for all those unseen battles, because nobody fights without earning something back, whether they realize it or not. The number, $60,000,000, echoes like a symbol. Not necessarily money, but magnitude. It represents value so large it almost feels unreal. It stands for everything you were told was impossible, everything you talked yourself out of believing. It represents a version of life you convinced yourself wasn't meant for you. And yet here it is, offered in a sentence bold enough to jolt you out of whatever mindset has been limiting you. Imagine for a moment that the vault really does exist in another realm, the realm of potential. And imagine that during your hardest days, you've been unknowingly depositing things in it, the grit you didn't know counted, the patience you didn't realize mattered, the loyalty you gave freely, the prayers you whispered quietly, the intentions you carried even when you doubted yourself. Imagine that every act of resilience became currency. Imagine that every time you kept going when you could have quit, something added to the total. Until one day, the vault wasn't empty anymore. It was overflowing, and now someone finally tells you it's time to open it. The urgency, before it's gone, is not a threat. It's a reminder. Opportunities don't stay forever. Courage fades when ignored. Life opens doors but expects you to walk through them. The vault cannot remain unlocked indefinitely because what is meant for you can expire if you keep convincing yourself you're not ready. The vault is full, yes, but it requires your decision to claim it. You start feeling the pressure of 7 minutes differently. It's not fear, it's focus. For once, everything distracting slips away. The arguments, the doubts, the past mistakes, the worries about the future, all of it gets quiet. Because there's something bigger standing in front of you. Something that requires your attention. Something that requires your participation. Something that requires your belief. Now your mind begins to wander into the possibility of transformation. Not a slow, gradual shift, but something immediate, something sudden, something that happens the moment you accept that you're worthy of receiving. Because that is the real vault, worthiness. And so many people go their entire lives believing that their vault is empty because they believed they were undeserving. But what if the moment you accept that you deserve good things, doors swing open that you thought were permanently sealed? What if the vault is a metaphor for the blessings that have been circling your life, waiting for you to stop blocking them with self-doubt? You start to feel something rising inside you, an energy you haven't allowed yourself to feel in a while. You begin to imagine what it would look like if you stopped underestimating yourself. If you stopped settling. If you stopped shrinking to keep others comfortable. If you stopped treating your dreams as if they were optional. Imagine unlocking a version of yourself who acts with intention instead of hesitation. Who speaks with conviction instead of apology. Who moves with purpose instead of fear. That is the real treasure, and maybe the $60 million isn't money at all. Maybe it's the life you could build if you stopped living small. Maybe it's the emotional wealth of knowing you finally chose yourself. Maybe it's the legacy you could leave behind if you stopped doubting your potential. Maybe the vault is the beginning of a story you rewrite from this moment forward, but to access it, you must open something. You must open your imagination, your courage, your willingness to take risks. You must open your heart to the idea that the universe isn't against you. It might actually be conspiring to bring you to the place you always deserved to be. You must open the door to your next chapter, no matter how uncertain it feels. Because nothing changes until something opens. The countdown continues. 6 minutes, 5 minutes, 4. Each minute feels like an invitation to shed a layer of the person you no longer need to be. 3 minutes. That's when the shift becomes undeniable. You feel the quiet stir in the air around you, as if something is aligning itself just out of sight. The idea of a secret vault, once symbolic, starts to feel real, so real that you can almost hear the echo of its heavy door unlocking in the distance. You begin to sense that something has been preparing itself for you long before you ever knew to expect it. And that realization changes everything, because for so long, you've walked through life believing you had to earn your breakthroughs through suffering. You believed that progress only came after struggle, that blessings had to be justified, that success required permission. But what if the vault has been yours from the beginning? What if the universe wasn't waiting for you to prove your worth, but simply waiting for you to recognize it? You start thinking about all the opportunities you passed on, not because you weren't capable, but because you weren't convinced you deserved them. You think about all the dreams you placed on hold, all the ideas you talked yourself out of, all the moments where you played small even when a part of you knew you were meant for more. Those memories rise like ghosts, not to haunt you, but to remind you that the vault was quietly filling itself during every moment you doubted your own value, and then the truth becomes clearer. The vault is not a reward, it's alignment. It's the moment when your belief finally matches your potential. It's the moment when your readiness finally meets what has been waiting for you. And sometimes, all it takes is a message bold enough, urgent enough, shocking enough to snap you out of who you were and push you toward who you can become. 2 minutes. Now the feeling intensifies. You realize something profound. The vault isn't a destination. It's a decision. It's the moment you choose to step into the version of yourself who does not apologize for wanting abundance. The version of yourself who no longer negotiates with doubt. The version of yourself who understands that blessings don't chase people who keep running from their own greatness. You begin to wonder, what if your next step doesn't require perfection, just willingness? What if the key to the vault has been in your hand this entire time? What if the vault opens not because you finally became worthy, but because you finally stopped resisting what was always yours? Your mind drifts to the things you never said aloud, the dreams you thought were too unrealistic, the desires you buried because they felt too big, the visions of your future that felt embarrassing to admit. But the vault knows them. It remembers every single one. And it doesn't judge you for wanting them. It simply waits. Now the clock is ticking louder, 1 minute. This is where something powerful happens. You begin to feel responsible for your next chapter. Not in a burdensome way, but in a freeing way. You realize that if a vault filled with unimaginable wealth, symbolic or literal, is waiting for you, then you must become the person who can hold it without losing yourself. You must become the person who isn't afraid of success. You must become the person who doesn't sabotage good things because they feel unfamiliar. This final minute becomes a mirror. It forces you to confront the habits, beliefs, and fears that have been keeping your vault locked. It forces you to ask yourself what you truly want. It forces you to acknowledge that life is not going to hand anything to the version of you that doubts everything, but it will open every door for the version of you that believes. 30 seconds, you can almost hear your future breathing behind that door. You can feel the weight of every untapped possibility, every unexplored idea, every destiny you've postponed. The vault is not empty, it is full. Full of potential. Full of abundance. Full of everything you've earned through surviving, growing, learning, and refusing to stay broken. 15 seconds, the air feels electric now. Not because of money, money is just a symbol, but because you finally understand something life has been trying to tell you for years. You were never waiting on the vault. The vault was waiting on you. 10 seconds, you're inches away from opening it, not by force, not by luck, but by awareness. 9, you breathe. 8, you listen. 7, you accept. 6, you allow. 5, you rise. 4, you remember your strength. 3, you acknowledge your worth. 2, you prepare. 1, the vault begins to open. The vault opens, not with a dramatic explosion, not with blinding light, but with a quiet shift, a feeling like the world exhaling after holding its breath for too long. It doesn't open the way a physical door does. It opens inside you, around you, through you. It opens in the space where possibility finally meets permission, and when it does, the first thing you feel is warmth. Not heat, not fire, warmth, like standing in a place where everything that once worked against you has suddenly decided to work in your favor. It's the warmth of recognition, the warmth of something that has always belonged to you returning to its rightful place. You take a step forward, not physically but energetically, and suddenly you become aware of something extraordinary. The vault isn't a container of wealth, it's a container of versions. Versions of you that you abandoned. Versions of you that you outgrew. Versions of you that you never had the courage to become. They are all here, waiting for you to choose. One version stands tall with certainty in their eyes, unshakable, confident. Another glows with creativity you forgot you had. Another radiates peace you've never truly allowed yourself to feel. Another carries ambition like a natural pulse. Another has already lived the life you dream about. They are all you, unlived, untouched, unexplored, and the vault is full of them. You spend your whole life thinking you only get one chance, one path, one destiny, but here you are, staring at proof that you were never limited to a single storyline. The vault reveals that life has always been offering you multiple timelines, multiple outcomes, multiple possibilities. You simply had to be brave enough to claim one. You look around and realize the energy inside the vault feels both familiar and foreign. It feels like home, but also like a place you've never stepped into. That's the paradox of becoming more than who you've been. It feels natural and terrifying at the same time. You recognize pieces of yourself in every corner, but you also see enough unknown to make your heart beat faster. You walk deeper into the vault, guided by a sense of knowing you didn't have 10 minutes ago. Here, there are no doubts. No fears. No voices telling you to shrink. Everything inside radiates certainty, abundance, possibility. Everything inside holds the message that you were meant for something larger than your circumstances. You notice something glowing on a pedestal in the center of the vault. It's not money, not stacks of cash, not gold, not jewels. It's a single object, a key. But it doesn't look like any key you've seen before. It shifts, changing shape slightly each time you blink. As if it's adjusting itself to fit you specifically, you reach for it instinctively, and the moment your fingers touch it, a wave of realization flows through you. The real vault has never been external. The real vault has always been your potential. The key has always been belief. Your entire life, you've been conditioned to think that blessings come from the outside, that opportunities are handed down by someone else, that breakthroughs appear when luck decides to notice you. But the vault exposes something far more powerful. Everything you need has always existed within you, sealed away until you became ready to unlock it. As you hold the key, memories flood back, moments when you almost gave up. Moments when you pushed through anyway, moments when you stood alone, moments when you refused to break. Each memory glows faintly, reminding you that the vault isn't a prize for surviving. It's the natural result of who you've become because you survived. You turn the key in your hand, feeling its weight, and suddenly the vault begins to transform. The walls pulse with possibility, shifting like liquid gold. Every reflection of you on those walls, every version, every potential, every future, begins to merge, aligning into a singular path. The vault is preparing you, not to take something from it, but to release something within you. You step closer to the center as the energy intensifies. The air vibrates with meaning. Everything becomes clearer. You are not being given wealth, you are awakening to it. You are not being handed success, you are remembering it. You are not being granted abundance, you are reclaiming it. The vault whispers without sound, communicating in a language that bypasses words. You were never less. You were only unaware. And as that truth sinks into your bones, something inside you unlocks. A door deeper than the vault, deeper than any metaphor, deeper than any symbol. A door you didn't know existed. A door that doesn't open outward, but inward. Your heart expands, your breath steadies, your energy lifts. You feel yourself rising into a version of you who has been waiting patiently. Silently, faithfully, and with that rise, the entire vault brightens, lighting up with a brilliance that feels like destiny unfolding. The vault has opened, but now it's you who must open next. As the vault brightens, something extraordinary begins to happen. You feel parts of yourself reconnecting, like cables that were unplugged for years suddenly clicking back into place. And with each reconnection, your sense of clarity sharpens. You start remembering things you forgot you knew, who you once wanted to be, what you once believed you could become, what you once felt deep in your soul before the world taught you to be realistic, careful, afraid. This is the moment where the vault reveals its true purpose, not to give you something new, but to return something you lost along the way. You take a slow step forward. The ground beneath you doesn't feel like stone or earth. It's more like standing on intention, on possibility solidified into matter. The air itself pulses with a promise. You are not here by accident. And then you realize something startling. You never found the vault summoned you. It waited for the moment when your spirit would be strong enough to hold its truth. It waited for the moment when doubt loosened its grip enough for belief to slip through. It waited for the moment when you would finally stop pretending that you were meant for an ordinary life. This place did not appear to give you hope. It appeared because you were finally ready for it. You walk further toward the center, holding the key. And then another revelation hits you. This key isn't an object at all. It's a manifestation of your own willingness. When you raised your hand to take it, the vault recognized your readiness and shaped the key to match it. That's when the vault begins to shift again. The golden walls ripple like water, then straighten into clarity. The versions of you that once stood separately, confident you, creative you, peaceful you, ambitious you, begin moving toward you. They don't fade, don't vanish. They merge, layering themselves into your being. Not replacing you, not overwhelming you, but integrating with you. You feel the changes immediately. Your mind becomes sharper, your awareness heightens, your energy expands, your identity stabilizes into a stronger version of itself. You aren't becoming someone else, you're becoming complete. For years, you believed you had to choose between strength and softness, between ambition and peace, between humility and self-worth. But the vault shows you the truth. You were never meant to choose among your strengths. You were meant to carry all of them at once. You were meant to walk this world as a layered, multidimensional being whose power comes from integration, not limitation. The vault hums, resonating like the deep vibration of destiny aligning. And suddenly, the pedestal before you shifts. Where the key once rested, something else now appears, a small, glowing box. Not metal, not wood, not glass, something otherworldly, something alive with energy. Instinctively, you know this is the core of the vault, the heart of your potential. The condensation of everything that belongs to you. Your hand trembles as you reach for it, not from fear, but from magnitude. You understand that opening this box will change you. Not in the superficial way people talk about change, but in the foundational way that reshapes identity, decision-making, direction, and destiny. You touch the lid, it responds like it recognizes you. A soft pulse travels through your fingertips, up your arm, into your chest. You feel it settle behind your ribs, right where your purpose has always lived but rarely been acknowledged. And then the lid slowly, quietly lifts. Inside, you expect light. You expect treasure. You expect the symbolic wealth that $60,000,000 represents. But instead, you see a single sentence suspended in the glow. Everything you are seeking is already seeking you. The moment you read it, the meaning detonates inside you. You've spent so much of your life chasing things, success, love, peace, validation, stability, guidance. You've run toward futures and run away from fears, believing the things you wanted were far away, difficult, hidden, or reserved for someone better. But this sentence tells the truth you were never taught. You weren't chasing those things. You were being guided toward them. The opportunities you longed for weren't avoiding you. They were circling you, waiting for you to stop pushing them away with doubt, hesitation, and disbelief. The peace you wanted wasn't impossible. It was calling to you through intuition you ignored. The success you dreamed of wasn't delusion. It was destiny knocking on the door of your belief. You realize now that the vault didn't appear to show you wealth. It appeared to show you alignment. The moment you believe in your own value, everything that belongs to you begins to move toward you with unstoppable momentum. You close your eyes as the meaning settles in your chest like a sun rising behind your ribs. And when you open them again, the glow inside the box intensifies, brightening, expanding, filling the vault with light so strong that it dissolves the walls around you. The vault doesn't collapse, it evolves. It transforms into a horizon, a wide, limitless expanse stretching in every direction, a symbolic landscape of every possibility that exists for your life from this moment forward. And then you hear the vault's final message, not as a whisper, but as a truth that vibrates through your entire being. You stand in the endless horizon, the vault having unfolded into a universe of possibility. At first, the vastness feels overwhelming. It's as if someone took the limits off your life and left you standing in front of a blank infinity. But then you realize something. This horizon isn't empty. It's waiting. Waiting for your direction, your desire, your decision. For the first time, you can feel the world responding to you instead of the other way around. The ground beneath your feet is not made of soil or stone. It's made of potential, fluid, responsive, alive. Every step you take shapes the landscape before you. Every choice you make shifts the direction of the path. Every thought you form becomes part of the terrain. You aren't just walking through this horizon, you're designing it. You breathe in deeply, and the air tastes different. It tastes like possibility, like purpose, like a life no longer constrained by what you were taught to fear. And with that breath, you begin to realize something even more powerful. The vault didn't just open for you. It opened you. It unlocked your capacity to imagine again. It unlocked the part of you that remembers how to dream without apology. It unlocked the courage to believe that the life you want is not beyond reach, but waiting for your signal. You look down at the key in your hand. It has dissolved, absorbed into your skin. Not lost. Integrated. Its message is clear. You no longer need a tool to access your potential. The key has become part of who you are. As you walk across the glowing horizon, the landscape shifts around you, forming symbols from your past, not to haunt you, but to heal you. You see shadows of memories, times when you felt small, unheard, unacknowledged. You see moments when you wanted to give up but didn't. You see versions of yourself standing at crossroads, making choices you questioned later, choices that shaped you even when you didn't understand how. But now, something extraordinary happens. Each memory dissolves the moment you acknowledge it, each shadow fades without resistance, each echo of pain melts into light. The vault's horizon isn't a place for suffering, it's a place for integration. It allows you to take what you've lived through and turn it into wisdom instead of weight. As you continue walking, you reach a place where the horizon narrows into a glowing pathway. The light isn't harsh, it's guiding, gentle. It illuminates the steps ahead, not showing the entire journey, but just enough for you to move forward with trust. And that is when you understand the true nature of the $60 million symbol. It represents more than wealth. It represents exponential potential, multiplied confidence, compounded self-belief, abundant identity. It represents what happens when you stop limiting yourself. You were never being prepared for money, you were being prepared for magnitude. You take a step onto the path. The moment you do, the horizon responds. The sky shifts to a deeper, richer glow. You feel the presence of something larger, not a being, not a voice, but a force. A divine intelligence that has been guiding you even when you doubted it existed. The message it carries is crystal clear. You are not behind. You are arriving. Those words settle into your chest like a truth you've needed your entire life. You think about all the times you compared yourself to others, all the moments you believed you were late, all the seasons in which you felt stuck while everyone else seemed to be moving. But now you see the bigger picture. Your timing was always sacred. You were not delayed, you were being shaped. You pause, taking in the vastness. The air grows warmer. The light deepens. Your awareness sharpens in a way you've never felt before. You realize that from this point forward, nothing will look the same, not because the world changed, but because you did. Your perception is shifting, your energy is elevating, your identity is expanding. You begin to sense movement within the horizon. Shapes form in the distance, possibilities manifesting. You see glimpses of futures you could step into, the life where your dreams are realized, the life where your inner peace is unshakable, the life where your potential is fully activated. Each future shines with its own rhythm, its own frequency, its own gravitational pull, and then another revelation hits you. You don't have to chase any of them, you only have to choose. The moment you choose a future, it begins moving toward you just as quickly as you move toward it. That is what the vault was trying to show you all along. You are not someone waiting for blessings. You are someone blessings are trying to reach. You lift your head and look beyond the horizon. The glow intensifies, forming a gateway, a threshold between who you were and who you are becoming. You can feel it pulling you forward, not forcibly, but magnetically. You are ready to cross, ready to claim, ready to rise. And the vault, the message, the calling, the awakening, reminds you with its final whisper.